Imagine a completely normal scene. A 42-year-old teacher smiles and proudly says she has $38,000 sitting safely in her savings account. She thinks she is doing everything right. But then look at her neighbor. This guy has 2 financed SUVs in his driveway, a big mortgage, and thousands of dollars in credit card debt. Yet, over the exact same year, his net worth goes up much faster than hers. Nobody thinks this is strange anymore. The saver is called responsible, while the debtor is somehow getting richer. Meanwhile, millions of hardworking people follow the exact same old advice: spend less, save more, and put your money in the bank. They do everything they are told to do, but their purchasing power keeps shrinking anyway. Everything costs more, and their money buys less. So what is really going on here? My name is Noah, and I spend a lot of time studying the invisible systems that quietly drain money from ordinary people while convincing them they are being financially responsible. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why saving money alone stopped being a good wealth strategy. You will see how inflation, banking systems, and asset pricing quietly work against savers every single day. Most importantly, you will learn what actually builds real wealth instead. If you like financial breakdowns that explain the system with real numbers instead of just motivational quotes, hit subscribe. The big problem is that this isn't just happening to a few people. It is happening everywhere, to millions of families who think they are playing it safe. When you put your hard-earned cash into an average savings account, the bank pays you a tiny bit of interest. But that interest is almost always much lower than the rate of inflation. Inflation is just a fancy word for how fast things get more expensive over time. So, while you think your money is safe and growing, it is actually losing its power to buy things every single year. Let's look at a real example so you can see how this works. Imagine you have $50,000 saved up in cash. You feel great because that looks like a huge safety net. But if inflation averages just 4 to 5% a year, the prices of groceries, gas, and clothes are all climbing. By the end of the year, your $50,000 is still there, but it can only buy what $47,500 used to buy. You didn't spend a single dime, yet you quietly lost thousands of dollars in real purchasing power. It is like a hidden tax on your good behavior. Meanwhile, something completely different is happening to the price of things you want to own. The cost of houses, stocks, and strong businesses keeps rising much faster than regular job wages. The modern economy doesn't reward cash ownership nearly as much as it rewards asset ownership. An asset is simply something you buy that has the potential to grow in value or make you money over time. While savers hold on to paper cash that loses value, people who own assets watch their wealth grow. If you only hold on to cash, you are running on a treadmill that keeps moving faster and faster, while the people who own assets are riding a rocket ship. To truly understand why this happens, we have to look at how inflation really works. Most people think inflation just means that prices are going up at the grocery store or the gas station. But it is actually the exact opposite. Prices are not just rising. The value of your dollar is falling. Inflation means the purchasing power of your money is declining. When your cash is just sitting still in a bank account, it is losing its strength and its muscle over time. There is also a huge secret about what happens to your money when you hand it over to a bank. When you deposit your cash, the bank does not just lock it up in a safe to keep it warm. Instead, they immediately turn around and lend your money out to other people. They charge those people much higher interest rates for car loans, credit cards, and mortgages than the tiny bit of interest they pay you. Your idle cash becomes highly productive and makes a lot of money for them, not for you. The bank treats your savings like an employee. You treat it like a security blanket. You think your cash is tucked away safely, but the bank is putting it to work to build their own wealth. The real irony here is that you took all the risk of inflation while your money sat there losing value, but they collected all the returns. They get rich using your hard work, while you are left holding a blanket that gets thinner and thinner every year. Now we get to the real psychological twist of the whole system. Most ordinary savers are taught that all debt is bad, so they try to avoid it completely. They want to owe $0 to anyone. But wealthy people look at debt in a completely different way. They often borrow money on purpose to buy assets that grow in value. This is because the system treats productive debt and bad consumer debt very differently. Productive debt helps you make money, while consumer debt just drains your wallet. Think about a mortgage on a house or a business loan. If someone uses borrowed money to buy a property or start a company, the value of that asset often grows much faster than the interest rate they have to pay back to the bank. Because the asset appreciates and gains value over time, they end up making a massive profit using the bank's money. In modern finance, the person holding cash is often falling behind the person holding controlled debt. While the saver's cash is shrinking in value due to inflation, the debtor's asset is growing, and their debt actually becomes easier to pay off over time because inflation makes the dollars they owe worth less. To be absolutely clear, this does not mean you should go out and get into reckless debt. Buying expensive clothes, gadgets, or fancy vacations on a credit card will still ruin your finances. The main point is that debt attached to appreciating assets behaves completely differently than cash sitting idle. One is a trap that keeps you broke, while the other is a tool that the wealthy use to get ahead. While regular savers are afraid of all debt, the system is secretly rewarding those who know how to use the right kind of debt to buy things that grow. To see how this hurts real people, let's look at Marcus. He is 39 years old and works as an operations manager, making $82,000 a year. Marcus does everything correctly according to the old rules. He saves 15% of his income every single month, keeps a big emergency fund in the bank, and avoids investing aggressively because he thinks he is being careful. He prides himself on being a responsible adult. But when you run the numbers, the math tells a sad story. Marcus saves about $12,000 every year. He stacks it up in his bank account, but inflation keeps eroding his purchasing power. At the same time, rent and home prices in his town are rising much faster than his savings can grow. Because his cash earns a tiny real return, he is actually losing ground. Now, compare Marcus to his friend who takes a different path. Instead of leaving all his extra cash in a basic bank account, his friend invests steadily in index funds and buys a modest rental property. Over a 10-year period, the difference between them becomes massive. Marcus feels deeply disciplined, but he also feels financially frozen, like he is stuck in place no matter how hard he works. Meanwhile, his friend quietly compounds wealth as his investments grow over time. Marcus wasn't irresponsible. He was operating with outdated instructions. He followed the rules perfectly, but the rules changed without telling him. This is where the story gets tough, because the trap is not just in the math. It is in our minds. Smart people stay stuck in this cycle because of how we are taught to feel about money. Saving money feels safe and warm, while investing it feels dangerous and scary. From the time we are kids, society praises visible sacrifice, like skipping your morning coffee or packing a lunch to save a few dollars. Schools teach us how to make a budget, but they almost never teach us how asset ownership works. Because of this, a deep fear of losing money keeps people accepting a guaranteed loss instead. They worry so much about the stock market going down that they choose to let inflation quietly eat away their cash every day. It really comes down to identity and pride. People would rather slowly lose purchasing power quietly than risk looking foolish temporarily by making an investment that might fluctuate. The system trained people to confuse safety with stagnation. Stagnation just means standing completely still while the world moves ahead. Big financial institutions know exactly how to use this fear. Banks spend millions of dollars on marketing to sell you peace of mind. They use commercials with calm music and nice logos to make you feel like their savings accounts are the safest place on earth for your money. But the truth is, these financial institutions profit immensely from your idle deposits. They need you to leave your cash sitting still so they can use it to build their own wealth, while you stay locked in a trap of false security. Let's look at the real math side by side so you can see exactly how this plays out over time. Imagine two different people, each with a different plan for their money. Option A is the traditional safe saver. She puts $500 every single month into a low-interest bank account. After 10 years, she looks at her statement and sees that her total balance looks okay on paper. But when she tries to buy a car or a house, she gets a huge disappointment. Because inflation made everything more expensive, her real purchasing power is weak. Her money lost its muscle while sitting in the bank. Now look at option B, the boring asset builder. This person keeps a small cash fund just for emergencies, but invests every extra dollar consistently into broad index funds or real assets. An index fund is just a basket of many different stocks that lets you own a tiny piece of the whole stock market. By doing this, they allow compounding to work for them. Compounding means your money earns money, and then that new money earns money too, like a snowball rolling down a hill. When you compare the total numbers after 10 years, the difference is eye-opening. The saver has a safe pile of cash that buys much less than it used to. The asset builder has a growing pool of wealth because their investments climbed right along with the rising prices of the world. The biggest risk in 2026 may not be investing. It may be standing still. Staying in cash feels safe, but it is a guaranteed slow leak for your wealth. Moving your money into assets might feel scary at first, but it is the only way to keep your hard work from melting away. So, how do you escape this trap and protect your hard work? The answer is practical, and it should give you a sense of relief. You do not have to completely change your life overnight, but you do need to follow a clear framework. First, always keep a basic emergency fund in the bank. You still need cash to pay for sudden car repairs or medical bills. But once that safety net is full, you must stop treating cash as a wealth-building strategy. Cash is for safety, not for growth. To build true wealth, you need to buy productive assets consistently. The easiest way to do this is to automate your investing. Set up your accounts so that a little bit of money goes directly from your paycheck into investments before you even have a chance to spend it. As you start making more money, avoid lifestyle inflation. This means you should not rush out to buy a fancier car or a bigger house just because you got a raise. Focus on ownership, not appearances. You do not need to look rich while building wealth. You also need to learn the deep difference between destructive debt and productive debt. Destructive debt is using a credit card to buy clothes or gadgets that lose value the second you take them home. Productive debt is using a low-interest loan to buy something that makes money or grows in value, like a house or a piece of equipment for a business. There are many simple ways to start focusing on ownership. You can put your extra money into broad index funds, use tax-advantaged retirement accounts, or invest in small business opportunities. You can even invest in yourself by learning new skills that increase your regular income. The more skills you have, the more value you can create. By shifting your mindset from being a saver to being an owner, you stop running on that financial treadmill. You finally give your money the power to grow, protect your future, and build real, lasting wealth. Saving money is still very important, but saving alone is no longer enough. The financial rules changed quietly while most people were not paying attention. A generation ago, your parents or grandparents could build a stable, comfortable life just by working hard and saving cash in a regular bank account. Back then, banks paid good interest, and prices did not shoot up so fast. Today, that old plan does not work anymore. Cash loses ground every single day unless it is converted into assets that compound and grow over time. When you look around at the people who are truly getting ahead financially, they aren't necessarily working harder or putting in more hours at their jobs than you are. They simply own things that grow faster than the dollar shrinks. They shifted their focus from holding paper money to owning pieces of the real economy, like stocks, real estate, or businesses. It can be frustrating to realize that the traditional advice we were all taught is actually keeping us stuck. But understanding this truth is the ultimate shortcut. Once you see that hidden mechanism, the entire economy starts making a lot more sense. You stop blaming yourself for not getting ahead, and you start changing how you play the game. If this breakdown changed how you think about money, hit subscribe. The very next step is understanding exactly how the wealthy use assets, debt, and taxes completely differently from everyone else, and you do not want to miss it.